Moonlight Movie Mention on Countdown's VHS pirate ship.
What if you had the power of invisibility? Ooh! Yes, indeed, invisibility. Which, of course, is the ability to be invisible. Yeah, no Which is a concept that's captured our imaginations for a long time. And when you're asked the hypothetical question, what superpower would you have? Invisibility is usually on that list. And we've all mused on what it would be like to have the power of invisibility. You know, you really have to wonder if this was even a thought before H.G. Wells took this concept and turned it into a famous novel, which was published in 1897, and with the help of the Island of Dr. Moreau and the Time Machine, the Invisible Man would help put H.G. Wells on the map. And these three books of his actually established him as the father of science fiction. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant science fiction! So this story became immensely popular. So popular, in fact, that Universal Pictures took notice. And The Invisible Man was released in theaters November 13th, 1933. And this is where this story becomes really, really popular. I mean, the book itself was very popular, but the Universal Pictures movie made this shoot through the roof. So much so, in fact, that the Invisible Man would become one of the Universal monsters, right up there with Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, the Wolfman. I mean, you get the picture. The Invisible Man was now a monster. Though be it, I suppose he is sort of a B-list monster. I don't know, it's kind of like if you were to call the Monster Agency and wanted Dracula for a party, but he wasn't available, so they would just send the Invisible Man. You know what I mean? You know, it is kind of odd if you think about it, that why is the Invisible Man considered one of the famous movie monsters? I mean, why is he a monster? He's invisible. You're categorizing him with Dracula and the Mummy. I mean, the Invisible Man kind of stands out. I mean, not really because he's invisible, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it just sort of seems more like espionage thriller material as opposed to a monster movie, but you know, it is what it is. And The Invisible Man was extremely popular. So yeah, the movie was a hit, and man, they must have saved a fortune in the wardrobe department. You get it? Because he's invisible? You get it? No? Oh, man. But yeah, I know the story involves Dr. Jack Griffin, otherwise known as the Invisible Man, or rather, the Invisible Man! So I guess we're going to do that the whole episode then? Yeah, okay. But anyways, yeah, I know Dr. Jack Griffin eventually goes mad with power. Having the power of invisibility will do that to you, I guess. Commits a bunch of murders, and even muses about world domination. But I mean, really, all that stuff makes him more of a Batman villain than a movie monster, but whatever. So the movie was successful, and since it is a book-to-film translation, we all know how that usually goes. You know, when they end up adding a bunch of stuff and leaving a bunch of stuff out and completely changing the story entirely. But not this time, because this film has been described as a near-perfect translation of the book. Oh, good. And in 2008, this film was selected for the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress. Whoop-de shit. And so The Invisible Man was a very important story and a very impactful film, as he became one of the famous movie monsters. And it was only a matter of time before The Invisible Man came to VHS. It was first released on VHS in 1987 by MCA Home Video, and was part of the Gene Shalit Critics' Choice collection. And he did this with a number of VHS tapes, including The Wolfman. So that's pretty neat. And you can find The Invisible Man Gene Shalit edition VHS fairly easily today, but it'll cost you around 25 buckaroonies. I mean, if you put Gene Shalit on a VHS tape, that's going to mean some automatic mid-tier pricing. And The Invisible Man was released again on VHS in 1991 by MCA Universal Home Video as part of the Universal Monsters Classics collection. And since they made like a gazillion copies of this VHS, This is very easy to find today for very cheap prices. And Universal Home Video also released another collection of Universal Monsters on VHS in 1999. Only this time it was on a much smaller scale, as this collection only contained 8 movies. And you can bet your invisible ass that the Invisible Man was part of this collection. And again, they made like a gazillion copies of this VHS, and again, it's very easy to find today and very cheap. So if you want the Invisible Man on VHS for your collection, but ain't got that Gene Shalit money, well, these copies are more your speed. And if you search the internet for Invisible Man VHS, the 1999 distribution is usually the first one you come across.